library friends. It's Miss Kathy. I'm here at the Maumelle Public Library and I have some fun books today that are about books. Did you know that that's an easy way in sign language? Is books like that, or you might go like this, like a book. Books. We have a lot to cover today, so we better get started. First off, I wanted to share with you a poem from one of my favorite poetry books called Where the Sidewalk Ends. The poems and the drawings are both by Shel Silverstein. And this poem is called Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. Where do you think Shel Silverstein is inviting us to? What do you think he had in mind? I think maybe he was inviting us to use our imaginations, or to listen to stories, or to write our own stories, or maybe even come to the library. That's what I think. But you can have your own interpretations, and this is a book you can check out from our library. Let's look at this one. Not everybody loves to read as much as I do. This one's called Miss Brooks Loves Books, and I Don't. It's by Barbara Botner, and the illustrations are by Michael Emberley. Can you tell that Miss Brooks loves some books? Miss Brooks is our librarian. She loves books a lot. She loves The Runaway Bunny and The Bar and Where the Wild Things Are and The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I asked Miss Brooks why she dresses up for reading circle. I want you to get as excited about books as I am, she says. I think Miss Brooks gets a little too excited, and I bet her costumes itch. Halloween means we have to find a poem to share, but all the books with witches, ghosts, and goblins are checked out, and I hate pumpkins. So I make up a Halloween poem of my own. Eek, a freak. The class looks at me funny. Miss Brooks says, well, it's a start. All year long, Miss Brooks reads us books. Books about dragons and pilgrims and presidents. Books about love and leprechauns, groundhogs even. It's vexing. Then in May, Miss Brooks tells us about something truly terrifying. Book Week. You each need to pick a favorite story to share with the class. I want you to wear a costume and tell us all about it. Really show us why you love it, she says. I'll never find a book. I'll never love a book the way you do, I tell Miss Brooks. Don't be so sure, she says. When I get home, I ask my mother if we can move to a new town. My mother says there's a librarian in every town. I ask if she wants to do my assignment for me. I've already been in the first grade, says my mother. Every single day of Book Week, kids share stories about trains and fairies and cowboys and dogs. When Miss Brooks asks what I think, I say, too flowery, too furry. too clickety, too yippity. So Miss Brooks fills my bag with more books for me to read with my mom. But I don't like any of them. They're too kissy, too pink, and too silly, I tell my mother. You're as stubborn as a wart, she says. Warts? I want to read a story with warts, I shout. Warts. My mother finds a book called Shrek. Shrek has hairs on his nose and he snorts. I love that. Can you read it again? Snort, snort, snort. Snort. I love this book. I have to practice the words over and over, but my mother helps. Then we make an ogre costume. I make stick-on warts for the whole class. When I get to school the next day, I ask Miss Brooks to lend me a hand. Look, she's putting the stick-on warts on all the kids. When I say the word snort, the whole class snorts. I explain why a stubborn, smelly, snorty ogre searching for a revolting bride makes me laugh. Miss Brooks says she's glad I found a book to love. She says that even ogres like me can find something funny and fantastic and appalling in the library. And that is the slimy truth. Did you know that's one of my favorite things to do is help people find books? So I would challenge you, can you think of a really unusual kind of book you would like me to try and find for you? If you do, ask your grown-up to help you put it in the comments section and let me see what I can come up with, because that is a fun game for me to play. I wanted to show you this nonfiction book. Nonfiction books have facts in them. And this one's called The Inside Outside Book of Libraries. It's by Roxy Monroe and by Julie Cummins. And I'm not going to read you the whole book because it's pretty long. But it has interesting facts about libraries. And not in this book, but I found some other interesting facts about libraries. Did you know that in France, there's a library that has smells in it? I don't know how they did that, but they have a library full of smells. Did you also know, can you guess what one of the most stolen books is? What holds the world's record for most stolen book from the public library? Yep, it's the Guinness Book of World Records. Oh, people just know you can borrow them and bring them back for free anytime. You don't have to steal them. All right, let me show you some of the unusual libraries in here. This one's called the Chatham Square Library. It's in New York City's Chinatown. And it is filled with not just books in English, but lots of books in Chinese also. And they have all kinds of interesting events that have to do with Chinese culture. Libraries can be very small, like the Ocracoke Library. It's in Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. And the whole island is only about 14 miles long, and only about 650 people live there. So that's their whole library. And that's sort of what it looks like inside. So there's a small, small library. And here's one of the biggest ones. It's in Washington, D.C., and it is the Library of Congress. And it has millions of books there. So there's a small one and a big one. That's what that looks like inside. There's libraries that are for blind and physically handicapped people. Arkansas has one of those in Little Rock. And this person is reading a book that's in Braille. And there are Braille books that you can borrow from the state library, and they have lots of special equipment. If you're sight impaired, they can help you out. There's an Explorers Club library in New York City that has lots of maps and all kinds of interesting information about explorers. There's charts and globes and maps. Oh my goodness, look at this. There is the Abraham Lincoln Library, and it's part of the U.S. Navy. It's on board a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. And this is what it looks like inside their library. Do you think it could be very big? It's all right, but it's not very, very big, is it? It has to fit on that ship. There's libraries in prison. And that's actually very important, because if you've done something wrong, or maybe you don't know the right way to behave or the right way to get a job, you can learn about those things in books. It's like having a ticket to freedom if you know how to read. This library has a tool library, and so does CALS. So does Central Arkansas Library System. It's at our D. Brown branch, and you can call them. I'm not sure right now with COVID what they're loaning out, but you could call and see what they have. Does it cost anything to borrow things from the library? It does not. Nope. And now we have the internet. So even when you can't get to the library, you can look at things online, but not just on the internet. You can use them to go through our library to find out information about books. There might be books that you can download or listen to or have somebody read to you. There are databases, there's homework help, there's all kinds of information. Maybe you want to learn about your family tree and genealogy, you can do that. There's an elementary school library. And they're using the computer to find the books. That's like our catalogs that we have at our library. And look at all these places where people live. Anybody can have a home library. It doesn't have to be fancy. You could just maybe have a certain shelf or a certain basket where you keep your books. Maybe they're your library books that you borrow and you need to bring back. Or maybe they're ones that you got for a present or you got from a book fair and you get to keep for always. Look at all those people reading in all those different ways. Oh, even with a flashlight. Do you ever do that? And that is the Inside Outside Book of Libraries. Here's a silly one called We Are in a Book by Mo Willems. We are in a book. Thank you. Peggy. Yes, Gerald. I think someone is looking at us. Someone is looking at us. Who is looking at us? A monster? No, it is a reader. A reader is reading us. How is a reader reading us? The reader is reading these word bubbles. We are in a book. We are in a book? That is so cool. We are in a book. We are being read. We are in a book. We are being read. Oh, I have a good idea. I can make the reader say a word. You can make the reader say a word? I can, if the reader reads it out loud. That is a good idea. That is a funny idea. Here I go. Ahem. Banana. Did you hear that? Oh, the reader said banana. Well, the reader said it again. Banana, so funny. Do you want to turn before the book ends? Ends? The book ends? Yes, all books end. When will the book end? I will look. Page 57. Page 57? It is page 46 now. Eek! Now it is page 47. This book is going too fast. I have more to give. More words, more jokes, more bananas. I just want to be read. I have a good idea. Whisper, 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 whisper. That is a good idea. Hello, will you please read us again? I hope this works. Me too. Did it work? Did it make you want to read it again too? This book called We Are in a Book by Maumelle. Did you know you can also check out music from our library? You can ask your grown-up to check out CDs, compact discs, the old-fashioned way, or you can download free music. The song I'm going to play for you next is from our Freegal app that we use, and it doesn't cost anything. So if you like it, it's called the Library Song. I'm going to need your help with this one though. So first I need to ask you, what did the chicken ask for when it went to the library? Do you know? Bork, 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 bork. Told you it was a silly song. And what did the frog say when the chicken gave him that book? Read it, read it, read it, read it, read it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to need your help singing this song about the chicken and the frog that want to go to the library.
Our hens allowed in the library, 'cause I want to go to the library. Our hens allowed in the library, 'cause I want a story. Book, 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 such a lot of books. Book, 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 such a lot of books. Book, 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 such a lot of books. I want a story. Shh. Frog says, "Are frogs allowed in the library? 'Cause I want to go to the library. Are frogs allowed in the library? I want a story." Read a lot of books. Read a lot of books. Read a lot of books. I want a story. Baby says, such a lot of books. Read a lot of books.
This is what we're making today. You can get the pattern for this off of croquetac.com, or you can come in and get one of our grab and go kits. And if you do that, I also have some puzzles you could do, or a scavenger hunt for fun, or coloring sheets. And then while supplies last, I also have these cool bookmark kits. So just ask for them if you want some. If you're going to do that, if you want to make this, what you need is your pattern, and you need scissors and glue, and something to draw with, like a marker or a pen or a pencil, and something to color with, like crayons or colored pencils or a marker. So here's our little book figure, and first we need to make it some hair. And I like kind of wild hair, so I'm just going to do hair however I want. What else color should I put in there? Maybe some green hair. Could be like this. Woo! It's very curly. My hair is not curly. My hair is straight. But you could make it look like you if you want. And let's see. Let's give it a pretty color shirt here. There we go. Let's see. What else should we put? Should we put flowers in there? That is very fancy, isn't it? So you could do straight up and down hair, curly hair, any color hair you want. You can make it look like you or somebody you know, or just somebody you made up in your head with your imagination. Next, you need to cut. There's my 2 pattern pieces. I had to kind of cut around this crazy hair I made. Maybe your character has short hair or straight hair, or maybe no hair. All those kinds of hairs or not hairs are just fine. You make it any way you want. So I had to cut that out, and then I had to cut out a pretend book. We need to do some folding next. Okay, make that be a book. And if you want, you can color right on there, and you can make my favorite right there. Then we need to do some more folding. See this line here? We didn't cut that. Or at least we weren't supposed to. Because the first time I made this, I did cut it. Even after I looked at the directions. Okay, so this is the folding line. It's going to fold up. And then we got to kind of fold this in half. See how there's that middle part there? These are going to be the arms. So one arm goes in there. One arm goes in there. But they don't really look like arms, do they? So I'm going to draw a hand on there. I don't know how many fingers I put on there, but that's okay. And a sleeve. I'll do it from this side. I told you can make them any way you want. Because people and hair and clothes and books, they come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and textures, don't they? There we go. All right, so now when you look at it from the top, it kind of looks like there's a little pocket right here, and that is where your book is going to go. I think I made its head not strong enough there, but put the little book in there, right in the pocket. And there we go. Ta-da! Thanks for watching. See you next time.